Hey good people, have you ever felt overwhelmed when approaching the ballot box? There are so many options and you don't recognize half of them. I felt the same way, so I went and researched every party and I've broken them down into 2-minute summaries. Let me know in the comments below if one of these parties perfectly aligns with your values or if you find a new team to put dead last. Katter's Australia Party. I thought Katter's Australia Party was similar to the Liberals, Nationals, One Nation side of politics, but I was wrong. Under their principles and ethos, we can see they believe Australia was founded on Christian values and that's something they want to protect. But Katter's Australia Party is actually an agrarian socialist party that advocates for social conservatism and economic nationalism, which puts them strangely in philosophical alignment with the left on economic policies. Apart from disagreeing on carbon taxes, Katter's party is in close alignment with the Greens when it comes to energy and the environment. They want more solar to reduce our carbon footprint, to prevent the extraction of coal seam gas, and use more hydroelectricity. They even agree on price caps and shopping locally, though the Katter party takes shop local to the extreme. They basically don't want anything in Australia that isn't Australian made. I doubt they realise that the consequences of high import tariffs is high prices, which is the prime factor in increase of cost of living. Where Katter's party leaves the left is on social issues, which is probably why I thought they were more like Liberals and Nationals. Their socially conservative takes on marriage, firearms and crime puts a chasm between the Katter party and the Socialists, specifically youth crime. Their plan to deal with youth crime is to send them bush. They also want to nationalise services such as water, electricity, gas, health and communications. They are in strong support of recreational freedoms such as shooting, fishing, rock climbing and four-wheel driving, and don't believe any Crown land should be off limits to the people. And I think they have the strongest stance I've seen when it comes to the sovereignty of home ownership. United Australia Party. Formerly the Palmer United Party, it's a populist party that carries a lot of baggage. Its founder and chairman, Clive Palmer, is no longer at the forefront of the party. That was Craig Kelly until 2 weeks ago, and now it's just Senator Babbitt. Their guiding principles are nowhere to be found, so based off their observable actions, I would describe them as a populist party with anti-establishment themes. They were at the forefront of the anti-lockdown protests during COVID years, and their current Senator, Ralph Babbitt, seems to enjoy razzing up his opposition with posts about cigars, Trump and meat. If you're looking for a party that is going to push for a COVID inquiry, Australian values and oppose anything the political left supports, then consider these guys. Australian Citizens Party. The ACP are national communists. They want to end free trade, increase government regulation, nationalise coal and gas, and create a new post office bank of Australia. With ideological roots in La Roquism, syncretism and economic nationalism, the ACP takes ideas from the left and the right and still doesn't land in the centre. They also have a strong anti-American sentiment and anti-London sentiment. But that makes more sense once you realise they are cinephiles, which is a cool new word I just learnt that describes someone who has a strong interest, admiration or affinity with the culture, history, language and people of China. Rejecting the hysteria of climate alarmism and the green view that humans are separate from the environment, the ACP supports a larger population within Australia and increased immigration. Some of their policies that stood out to me were their full compensation for financial victims and no war with China. Both of those sound good. And whilst the Australian Citizens Party shares colours with the UAP and the Liberal Party, I see more overlap in policy prescriptions with the Greens, but with more nationalism and an emphasis on banking as the root cause of our troubles. Libertarian Party. If you've heard of Javier Milei, the new president of Argentina, and you like what he's doing, which is reducing the size of government, then this is the party for you. Libertarians see the government as part of the problem, not the solution. They advocate for things like free markets, low taxes, individual liberties, and personal responsibility. While they are not very good at fleshing out their ideas and providing important details on their sparsely populated website, these guys probably have the best understanding of economics of any party. They understand unintended consequences, public choice economics, and how people respond to incentives. One of their most attractive policies, apart from their simplified tax code which would reduce tax loopholes, is their school voucher program. It's a direct copy of the Scandinavian school system, and it takes all the good aspects of private and public schooling and puts them together. And it's been working pretty well for Sweden, and those kids don't get homework. But if you're scared of nuclear and you like subsidies for green energy, then these guys are not for you. They want to remove subsidies for every private corporation and repeal nuclear energy bans. They also believe in Martin Luther King's vision of a colorblind society, which is in direct opposition to Labour's affirmative action policies. But most importantly, these guys want to reduce government spending and cut taxes. Victorian Socialists. They're a socialist party, pure and simple. They split from the Socialist Alliance in 2020 due to infighting, which is strange because they believe all of these same things. Housing should be free, gambling should be banned, profits are immoral, military alliances should be rescinded, and billionaires are evil. They believe that government has a magic wand, and simply by declaring something illegal or something else as a necessity, people will simply do as they are told, like pieces on a chessboard. They don't understand the very fundamentals of how prices emerge due to supply and demand, and would implement prices and wage controls which any Economics 101 student can tell you causes shortages, surpluses, reductions in quality, search costs, and deadweight loss. But one policy I do love is their plan to put politicians on workers' wages. And honestly, I think they're being generous at $87,000 a year. That's 5 more parties, but that's not all of your options. If you still haven't found your new favourite party, check out this video. The Australian Citizens Party and the Socialist Alliance have a lot in common, but their social policies are strides apart from the Katter Party and the UAP, and none of them have economic solutions as new and innovative as the Libertarian Party. Remember, you were born free.